Hi, welcome to Drawkward. I'm Mint CC. I do art very awkwardly, hence the name. Last time I drew some of my old My Little Pony characters, because that's how I got into art, is I started watching people draw My Little Pony. I also mentioned that I started drawing Pokemon pretty early on, and so I figured, at the next logical step, let me draw some Pokemon. I also just recently finished playing through Pokémon X with only flying types, which was a fun challenge, to be honest, but I figured I'd draw my team from that. The first Pokemon I had on my team was a Dodrio named Dodie. Great nicknaming. So this is gonna be fun. I need to figure out how to get my stuff working, but I do this every time. You'd think I'd get prepared. I never get prepared. Don't ever expect that from me. I will get my life together eventually, just not today. Have I ever drawn a Dodrio? No. Am I gonna figure it out? I guess. I've also been in a giant drawing funk recently, so that's gonna make this really fun. Can't draw worth a flip recently, but we're gonna try. So we got one head with kind of a beak going on. Look, it's gonna be bad. We're gonna fix it. Make a mess and then clean it up. It's my philosophy. This will be one of the heads. And the other head will go like here-ish. It's like a hydra, but a bird. This Dodrio is gonna have lots of character, okay? And then the other head will be all over here. I'm gonna have this one guy looking down, I think. I'm mixing references because I'm a genius. And you get these funky little necks. Look at the funky little neck. You get these skinny little necks. It's so funny. Honestly though, Dodie the Dodrio, one of my favorites. Honestly, I was surprised by how much fun I had using a Dodrio. No one cared about Dodrio. And I say that as someone who just used a Dodrio. It's wonderful. Big fan. And it's got a weird shaped body. I'm gonna rough it out, okay? And we're gonna fix it. Oh, I don't know how I did that. I did not give myself enough space for this, but through the power of art, we're gonna fix that. The digital art power of, let me just fix it. And then we can shrink it down. Yeah, Dodrio, for anyone who's never played the game. Actually, it's one of the first 151 Pokemon. It's a bird with no wings and 3 heads. I think canonically, they have 3 different personalities and they fight and stuff. It's really funny. This looks terrible, guys. But we're gonna push through, okay? And the tail's gonna be there. We're gonna push through this. It's gonna be great. We're gonna clean up the sketch. We're gonna do a second layer of sketching and add more detail and clean it up. A lot of people forget that this Pokemon exists. It's not the most memorable bird, especially because it's really weird. Why does it look like this? I think it's based on a kiwi, actually. What an angry one. Or at least this eye is always angry. Ignore my awful bird drawing skills. Look at him, he's so mad. How do beaks? He's so cute. My bad, let me be accurate. She's so cute. Because we're drawing Dodie the Dodrio, named after the music artist. I don't know anything about her, as a person. I just like her music. It's relaxing with its ukulele. I also started this playthrough 2 years ago and forgot about it and picked it up again recently. So I named Dodie a long time ago. That's a good beat, guys. This one's tired. Mood. The squiggles really do make or break this Pokemon's head. It looks so much better with them. You kind of don't want to draw the head things. They look so cute without them, but we can't just decide we don't want to draw parts of things because we don't think we can draw them well. And I continue my legacy of being a lot better at drawing faces than the rest of a body. Granted, this beak is awful here, but you can see me gesturing at this, right? This one, terrible. But yeah, I ended up using this Dodrio. I planned on catching it and then not using it the whole time. And then I fell in love with my Dodrio. Dodie is great. Dodie is fast. Dodie is wonderful. This head aspires to be like Zapdos. She's kind of stuck with the other two. So pretty. This is the pretty face, okay? This is the glamorous one. This is the angry one in the middle, and this is the one that's just tired and done with the other two. Because the one on the left's kind of a prima donna. The one in the middle has temper problems, and this one's just done with both of them. Mood. I feel ya. You gotta do the squiggles. It does this, and then it has squiggles, and then it does this, and it has more squiggles. Early Pokemon designs were really just something else. I don't know what happened. They were Yes, this is a normal thing to do. The 90s really were a different time. I wouldn't know. I wasn't here in the 90s, but my brother was. He doesn't remember it either. Neither of my brothers remember the 90s. It's very interesting. Did the 90s ever really happen? Do we have evidence? New conspiracy theory. 90s never happened. Look, we're just gonna roughen the shape and fix it later, okay? I'm not good at drawing birds. Which you may be wondering, why the heck are you drawing birds then? But, you know, art is about trying things that you're not good at sometimes, okay? Challenge yourself. It's bad and we're rolling with it. Yeah, that looks better though. Oh yeah, and then we really have just big feathers sticking out the back end. Like, the anatomy of Dodrio makes very little sense, logically. Okay, I'm gonna add a layer on top. I remembered this time. I was supposed to do this last time, but I did not remember. And this is my internal note to make the necks dark, because I had a female Dodrio, which, why Dodrio has a gender difference in its design, where the neck is pale and like flesh toned if it's a male and it's black if it's a female. Seems like a weird type of Pokemon to give a gender difference. We're gonna go with that one. My editor's gonna make fun of me for that. Yes, I go with the first brush. Sue me. It's hard to do kind of like rough, sketchy stuff while doing line art, which is half of the reason I don't finish my sketches half of the time, because I'm like, I don't want to mess up the pretty messiness of it, because it adds so much character. I think this brush having a bit of, it's called like the wobbly brush, it adds a little texture, which helps. I like a good texture. Not that that really matters. If you're a young artist, or an artist in general, and you have an art software that does not have rough textured brushes, you can do fine. I just like them personally. I like the texture. Whee. Okay, now we're gonna draw the other heads. Shape theory. For those of you who don't know, shape theory is this idea of different shapes invoke different emotions. Like triangles are kind of like harsh, and like circles are soft and friendly. Triangle bird is angry bird. There's a triangle bird and angry bird. It's the yellow one. Is angry bird still a thing? Does anyone know? I also just love how I just ignored my undersketch for that. Sometimes you gotta do that. Okay, now third head. Maybe my favorite. Look at that face. I love the little squiggles. They make me happy. So you can get line art and still have craziness. I'm saying that more to myself than to anyone else, but line art doesn't have to be clean and pretty and perfect. It can be. Some people do it and it's incredible, and I need to practice doing that more as well. But I think there's a place for messy line art too. It takes all kinds of artists. Like my editor, whenever he draws really nice, thick, clean lines, and meanwhile me, I have these thin little scratch marks everywhere. My handwriting, unsurprisingly, is chicken scratch. Pun kind of intended, because I'm drawing a bird. Then that translates into my art. I'll clean that up later. It's my catchphrase, if you hadn't noticed. The sketch is just a suggestion, okay? You can feel free to ignore it whenever you want. Now we're gonna hide the sketching layer. Hide the other sketching layer, apparently I had two. And now I gotta find color. Oh, that's the eraser, I'm an idiot. Oh, what'd I do? What the heck, where'd my color wheel go? How did I do that? Okay, well, I somehow killed my color wheel. Yeah, we're gonna roll with that color. This is so relaxing. I love coloring things in. I'm just making my own coloring book. Oh, another fun fact about Dodrio that I think is the dumbest thing. If you hadn't noticed, this bird has no wings. Still a flying type, which, like, I get, sure, yeah, it's a bird, so, like, sure, yeah, even if it doesn't have wings, you can give it a flying type. It'll know flying type moves, like peck, you know. But this Pokemon, out of all the Pokemon on my flying type team, this is the Pokemon I ended up pitching Fly to, because apparently this flightless bird can learn the move Fly, which is silly. Hey, can you imagine this thing flying through the sky at you? Terrifying. Also, how? I saw someone draw like a drawing or like an animation of it like taking the 3 heads and spinning them like a helicopter propeller, which was kind of funny because no one knows how this thing flies. It's very interesting. I honestly, when I caught Dodie and I put it on my team, it's because I didn't have access to any other flying types and I was going to replace it the minute I got anything better. But this thing ended up coming with me to the Elite Four and saving me. Granted, this thing I ended up giving it King's Rocks, which can allow it to flinch anytime it hits. And I would use Tri Attack, which can either burn, freeze, or paralyze. And oh my goodness, I would static things to death with this Dodrio. Because every time I hit it, I had a chance to flinch it, burn it, freeze it, or paralyze it, which is just so funny. This thing also learned Quick Attack, which is a surprisingly useful move. I will never underestimate Dodrio again. It's a good Pokemon that no one talks about or uses. Out of all the Generation 1 flying types, it is not the one you go for, or most people go for. That would be Pidgey, the Pidgey line. Spearow's okay. No one goes for Farfetch'd either, let's be honest. Dodrio's just kind of a forgotten Pokemon that no one ever thinks about. Unless you're me, or you're watching this, in which case now you're thinking about Dodrio. I should probably, once I get the edges done, make my brush bigger. Save myself some time. And energy. I wonder if my editor's gonna cut out that awkward pause in between those 2 words. If it makes it into the video. That would be really funny. It is unbelievable how long it's taken me to draw this bird, by the way. But that's okay, right? Sometimes things you look at and you're like, you could draw that really fast. And like, you can't. Like, you can, but you can't. Like, I could probably draw Dodrio in like 5 minutes. It wouldn't be a good drawing. It would be a 5-minute drawing. I watch people on YouTube. It's crazy. And there's one, ABD Illustrates, before some of his drawings, he'll put on screen how long it took him. Really, really useful for me, because like, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's so talented. He is. Well, some of them take him like 10 hours, which is just, oh my gosh, you know? In my flying type run through on Pokémon X, I used like 8 flying types over the course of the game. Obviously, only 6 made it to the Elite Four, because that's how the game works. So I have 8 Pokemon on my team that I could draw. I started with Dodrio, because in the game, in my party, it's the first one I have. Why, I don't really know, but it is. It's also one of the Pokemon that I used for the longest amount of time, because I'll draw Vivillon, Bug, next, because that's the first one I put on the team on a technicality. Because I caught the pre-evolution, which wasn't a flying type yet, first, but I also caught a Pidgey pretty early on, which, spoilers, one of the other Pokemon I used was a Pidgeot. It didn't end up making it to the Elite Four though. Yeah, I know. How sacrilegious of me to take the Pidgeot off my team, but I had 2 normal flying types. It was Dodrio and Pidgeot, and let's be honest, Dodie was doing more for me. Dodrio was really good, and I was really enjoying using it, more so than my Pidgey. It's a long neck. The neck's a long boy. It's okay. Sometimes you just gotta laugh at your own jokes. Wasn't even that funny. Have any of you seen that video that's like, this is what's wrong with the next generation's humor? And he puts up a picture of lettuce and he goes, lettuce. Lettuce. He's like, if a single one of you even smiled at that, you are the problem. And I full blown, when I heard that, actually laughed. Something about that's just actually funny to me. I am the problem with this generation's humor. Sometimes, like, random stuff is funny. Like, lettuce. It's just really funny to me. Yeah, my humor's broken, y'all. I'm gonna have to send pictures of all of these to my editor so he can show you them if you don't know what they look like. Hey, if you've never seen an actual Dodrio before, this drawing's incredible, right? That's actually not a bad drawing of a Dodrio. I don't have much competition there though. I'll sure there be someone out there who specializes in drawing Dodrio and they're like, how dare you? If that person exists, can I meet them? That sounds great. Like Dodrio's their favorite Pokemon and they're like, how dare you? That's sort of the beauty about Pokemon, or anything subjective really, is everyone could have a completely different favorite, right? You know, you can be agreeing with everyone else and be like, yeah, everyone loves this, or everyone hates this, or you could completely have your own opinion, and that's totally fine. You may hate Dodrio with a burning passion, and you know, that's cool. I'm sorry you feel so strongly about it. I can't say anything. Someone asked me recently what my least favorite flying type was, because I mentioned this. And I couldn't give him an answer at the time, and then I thought about it. And oh my goodness, I figured out what it was. And I went on like a 20-minute rant about how much I despised this Pokemon and how, like, I got all invested and emotional about it. And I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. It may or may not be one of the 8 Pokemon I used during this playthrough. I'll get to it later. I have very mixed feelings on this Pokemon. The idea was I was like, I'm gonna use it when I'm playing through this game and I'm gonna like develop a bond with it and I'm gonna like get over my issues with it. I kind of did, and I kind of also reinforced the fact that I really don't like it. It's sort of like, I don't like the Pokemon, but this specific one, it's alright. You know, it's like the idea of like, I don't like cats, but this cat, I like this cat. That's my opinion on that Pokemon now. No, I will find this color eventually. I think that's the color. We're going with it. Big brush. Okay, Dodrio. Good enough. Not good enough, but you know what I mean. It's a little rough. I could probably fix it and make it better, but not bad considering I've never drawn a Dodrio in my life and I'm in a drawing funk, so